We're running out of coal! The naughty list has never been so long! Santa's little helper, reporting for duty.
Hi guys, and welcome back, and the best of the season to you. We're only, 3 weeks out to Christmas now. So anyway, I'm back in on the Dragon 32, and I'm showing you where I'm up to with this one. It's not going to be a long video because I'm waiting on the boards to turn up from PCB Way, and I'm hoping they're going to be here soon. But anyway, what I'm going to do is take you along on how far I've come since the last video we put out. And as I was saying, these ones may be staggered a little bit longer in between. If you've subscribed and so forth, you'll get notification when the new ones are coming up. So what I'll do, guys, I will take you through what I have, what I have gone through, and what I've designed for this machine, and we'll go from there. Okay, so grab yourself a drink, a snack or two, and a comfy chair, and let's get on with it. So guys, we're back to the Dragon 32. Now this is the board that came out of it, and this is the power side of the board over here, over this side from the switch down. This is all to do with power. And as you remember, this was the weird 9-pin plug they had for bringing in the dual 28 volt AC lines, and that was so one could run on the 5 volt and the other two would run the 12 and the -5. So on that, this one has been mucked around with, and that's not the original RF modulator. The RF modulators, as you can see by the line on this board, were quite a big long RF modulator. Now I don't know if that's because this was a foreign one and someone tried to adapt it to our country's TV frequencies or not. But they also put this bodge board on the back that went to another audio board that had a couple of speakers on it. It was in the first one I did when I opened it. And it had a clip that clipped on the board somewhere. I don't know. But after taking this out and moving around a little bit, this has come away. So how good that was to start with, I don't know. The cable here, the chap I got it off disconnected this side of the ribbon cable, because this is what carries the 5 and the 12 and the ground into the machine. And this other side brought out the mod, or the mode, for the RF unit, the audio, the video, and the 5 volts back out for this to run as well. So they all come down. The video and the audio for this RF out, for this AV out, sorry, are just, the lines just come directly through to this, and it's a 5-pin DIN, but it only uses 3 connections, which is one either side and the one in the center. That's all that uses. So what I decided was, I couldn't find a power supply and I'd hate to try and buy one. So I decided I'm going to design my own board. So I measured up the insides of the Dragon 32, and what I found out is that the size I could have, and I will put on here for you the other side, a picture of the power supply I decided to get. Now these power supplies, which are in this box here, give me the voltage rails and the amperages that I need, and are just small enough to fit inside the case without causing issues. Now they'll rest up right against the capacitors that are on the board, but that is fine because I will just insulate this part of it here, so if it's touching anything, it's not going to short. Lengthwise it is fine. I've got a bit more room than I need, and height-wise it's fine. It's a lot lower than what I need. But as I say, I'll put a thing up here with the sizes of it for you so you can see what it is. So I got this, and I mean, this comes to somewhere, coming up the power supply side, it comes to somewhere like about this, I think it is, inside the case when it comes up. So I have miles of room across to here. So then what I did is I thought, well, all this is a pain, I don't want to stick it back in. So I went into KiCad and I designed my own video, audio out, and power distribution. And I looked at quite a few different ways to do this, and I was going to do a full-size board like this, and then come down, and because this is narrow, I was going to make another piece that you could solder tags onto it to put it on here, to put a connector on it, and so forth. And I thought, that's a lot of mucking around and extra work. And after about, I suppose, about 5 reiterations of this, this is the one I came up with. And so I'm not going to use the RF anyway, so I'm not going to put it in. Now this board I will leave and put in a bag and a box and put it with the machine when I sell it. So what I did is then I went through and I knew basically what some of the components were, but I didn't know about this one, so that was the only sticking point I had. What I did is I went through and I measured up all the holes in the back where the power goes through and this, and I had a set of my verniers and a ruler, which is here. Now I use these, and I sketched it all out on a piece of paper and worked out where everything had to go. And so when I did that, as I said, I had a few reiterations, and this was the last one I settled on. And so what I did is I designed the board, and I decided that I want to make it international. Doesn't matter who buys this, if it's in America or China or wherever, the UK, Ireland, wherever they want to buy it. I was going to make it so it's international. And so this is an auto switching power supply, and this will go from 100 to 240. So that's why I went with it. And so what it is, I designed this up. So the easiest thing I knew how to design up was, the first thing that went on was the jack. And so I decided I'm going to use all new parts. I'm not going to pull parts off this. So I went in for the standard jack size, and this one still has these on. I had to alter the footprints, and this was the early design to it. And because these ones don't have the locator pins on either side, which is what these holes are. So that's why they're still on here. So anyway, I designed it all up, and then I ordered the parts, and I got the jacks for the AB. I decided to go with figure 8 because it's the smaller AC power connectors. I decided to go with a proper power switch, and these ones on here that they used on the original boards, they look like audio switches, and I'm not a big fan of that, sticking voltages across audio based stuff. So I went and looked up and got these, and these are good for up to about 5 amps. I think they are at 220 volts, 240 volts. So I got those, and then I finally worked out what size these connectors were, and they're a 1.96 mil spacing between the pins. And so I got those. And so I ordered all that stuff, and I just had to wait for it to come in, and then I tweaked this a little bit to move things to the right spots. So what I also did on here is I've also put a legend on the board to tell you what pins do what on the AV out, because I had a hell of a time trying to work out what went where until I dug through a bit of stuff, and I thought it would have been so much nicer to have something that told me what pin went where. So anyway, carrying on with this, I designed this board. Now I made the board, it's shorter than this, but I made, these are the through holes for mounting the board, and I made these in exactly the same space. Now if I put this under here, those holes line up perfectly, and I only need 2 to hold it on. And so what I did is I made this so this will go down here, and as you see, it takes the right amount of room for it. And so what I did is then I made it, and then I might have to put my eyes on for this, guys. And then I popped the AV connector on, like so. And then I popped in the header connector, which goes there. And then the power connector, which goes down here. And then the figure 8. And I cut a niche in the back of this, because on these, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. Let's try to get it to an angle where the light might catch it for you. But you see there, they have that little ridge around them. And it's about probably 3 mils or so. So I thought, well, if I niche it out of the board and make that cutout, that will slide down, and I've cut it back deep enough so it comes flush with the board. Now this is what I've done so far, and I've made it a little bit wider so you can slide it left and right to line up the holes. So these are just normal through holes, and I made them for connecting wires that go from here to here. So what I'm going to do is have a couple of wires that go into here, or a couple of pins that this will solder onto, and then I'll wire from here to the switch, and I have a live and a neutral line, and then those are on the board, will run from here to the power in on the power supply, and then from the power in on the power supply, those wires will come out and go back into the board here. And so I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to put a strip of these in yet, with a header connector that just screws into these, or what I'm going to do. But this is the same connector as what will fit into the end of this older one. And these are them all here. So these are the male versions of the same as this, the female, sorry, versions of this, with all the crimp connectors and that in it. And these are nicer because they're a locking clip. And as I say, I've got others here, so if I need to cut it down, I can cut it shorter if I want to use them for this side. And as that are the figure 8s and the audio back jacks and the power switches. And so these all came in packs of however many. So I've got these, and I ordered these boards, and so these are what I'm waiting to come in. So that's what I am going to do. So I'm going to, this here is just going to go into a box and can go with it, as I say, just to keep it for originality if someone wanted it. But it's not original because somebody's already bodged it anyway. So getting this all sorted, I'll just move this stuff out the way. And so here we have the Dragon. Now this is the side that the audio part is on, and this is the side that the power supply sits on. And as you can see, these are the mounting holes that are in here. And so what will happen is, as you'll see with this, is that now if I sit this down here, it'll sit on there. Now you think it's too wide. But if I shift this over, just move that out the way, you can see that fits down here, and you can see the capacitors are just there. So it's not too bad. So when it's sitting in there and it's sitting level, it doesn't actually touch them. The only issue I have is the screw on here sits higher, and which holds it up. So what I'm going to do is, on the bottom of this, I'm going to put some rubber feet on it to hold it up a little bit, so it's not actually rubbing on anything. And then that will actually make it sit up high enough to where it is. and keep it out the way. And because then the top goes on here, and as you can see, that sits below. That's actually below that. And as you can see on here, it is a 110 to 220, 240. It has an adjuster too. If the voltages are a little bit out of sync, you can adjust it. So that's what I say. So that will go in there, and I just got to work out the little rubber feet. I've got some self-adhesive. You can buy them from the hardware store for putting on the bottom of your furniture. And they're just little self-adhesive, round or square pads. And I'll use a couple of those, stick them on top of each other, and that'll give me the right height. And also a bit of vibration in there as well. When that's in there, then this, with that bit on it, will then line up for those holes. Oh, that's not going to sit on there. And they will line up and screw onto here, and that will actually fit in exactly the right place in there. And so therefore you can plug your power cable in here, you can turn it on and off from there, and your AV lead goes out through there. And so this side here, there's going to be nothing over. As you can see, that's why I cut this board down. I'm trying to keep it into within that 100 by 100 millimeters. So that's why I did this, and I wanted this to be a bit stronger. That's why I made it that L shaped. This is only a 9-pin connector. These were 10s. I couldn't get 9s at the time, so I got 10s. I just pull one pin out. It was easy enough to pull out with a pair of pliers. So that's what I've got, and that will also work as a locator as well. So you look at it, it's only go one way around. I can make a female to female jumper cable, or I can take this out, put in a set of wires from there to the header connectors I have, and plug on there, and done. So I think that's pretty much all I've done there. Now I'll show you some pictures of the board and everything up on here for you, so you can see the design of it and the schematics of the board. They are pretty standard. I mean, pretty much all the leads you can see on this at this stage are exactly what it is. But as I say, I will put it's only a two-sided board. I will put the pictures up on here so you can see them, and I'll flip it over so it's upside down as well, so you can see it underneath. I have set the tops and the bottom as ground only, and that's DC ground, not AC ground. And I've done that so it can kill any stray noise, so it doesn't play up with the video and audio signals. Alright, so that's where I'm up to with this, and as I says, I'm just waiting on those boards to come in, and if anybody is interested, I will have some of these boards, and as you can see, I do have some components as well. If there's anybody who wants some bits and just want to cover my costs and the freight, you're more than welcome. Failing that, I am uploading the schematics for these boards and that to PCBWay, so if anybody wants them, the BOM is on there as well for the parts, and I'm just going to double check everything so I have got it listed correctly when I upload these. So I'll just check all those first, and then what I'll do is then I'll upload the latest ones and put them up on there, and you guys can just have a look, and it'll be under Dragon 32, so just have a look for that and you'll find I think there's only me and somebody else did something. I can't quite remember what it was, but yeah, there's only those two on there. And this is not in the BOM that I'm loading up with that, because the BOM is the BOM is the bill of materials, is only for the circuit board, but I have put it in the text that this is the model that I'm using, and the model number is the T30A. Now this is the smallest one they do, and I went with that because this only needs 1.5 amps at +5. It only needs a 0.5 amp at 12, and it only needs 30 milliamps at -5, something along those lines. And this is 3 amps at 5 volt, 1 amp at 12 volts, and 0.5 amp at -5 volts. So this is more than capable of running this, even with probably a few peripherals added to it. So that's why I decided I'll go with that, and yeah, that should do us fine. And as I say, I'm just going to put some rubber mounts. You can even buy them on AliExpress, that rubber feet, and get them in different heights. And so I may do that and measure the height. I don't think it's very high. I mean, it would probably find 8 mil at the max in height from the board to bring it above these. So yeah, I mean, I might measure from that screw down to the base. I mean, the other thing I could do is I could make a bracket that goes from here across and down. I could do a 3D printed one, I suppose. And then if I did that, then I could probably double side this onto it, double side tape it on. But no, then I'd screw it on first and then double side that onto it. So that sat on there, and then that would give it something solid to sit on, I suppose. I could, just more work. I don't know if I need it or not. So guys, anyway, sorry to waffle on like that for you. But yeah, so this is where I'm up to. So I will put up on here as well a list of all the parts that I got, and the links to all of this stuff was off AliExpress, so it's cheap. I mean, these were something like 20 something bucks, I think they were. And these parts, most of these were like $1 or something a piece, something along those lines. It wasn't dear. I will list those up, and as I said, these will be on PCBWay, I hope, by the time this goes up, and see how we go. I went with printing this out because I've been caught out in the past by designing stuff up. Yeah, that's going to be wet, and I don't fit it in the case, and it doesn't fit. I did it this way because I wanted it to make sure that it's going to sit in the case, and when it's screwed down, so I had it, so I sat it where everything was there, and made sure everything lined up with the holes. And that's what I did. So that's why I've done that. So guys, hoping everything's going to go fine, and I just noticed a bit of something in here in the board, bit of fluff or something around a ROM chip that's in there. Anyway, hopefully guys, these boards turn up this week. They're usually not too bad, so hopefully they turn up this coming week, and we can get this finished and one out before Christmas of this running. And I'm hoping that this was just the connectors I was having issues with, and that could be the other thing. This connector here, I don't know the condition of it, so whether I just replace it with one of these, and then I can run my wires. I can trim this end piece off, and then I can just run my wires from here to a header and just go straight on there. I mean, that would be one way to do it, because I know these don't take a lot of heat. This plastic doesn't like a lot of heat, and this older stuff doesn't either. And so what I will do is I may take that out, put a new one in, I think, and then the connector mates to it, so it's a matching set, and then the wires can just come from here. I think that'd be a better way of doing it. And then I'll just put this with the old power supply. I think just keep it with it. And so if they are longer, that's the only thing. They're probably about half the length higher again. So, yeah. I don't know. I will see. I suppose I could just put a header on it, push them on. They're going to be too long for these headers anyway. Let's have a look, eh? So if these go down, that's going to go down, but it's going to stop about probably there somewhere. So, I mean, it's not going to go all the way down. I mean, the other thing I like about this is you can only put it on the one way around. Because it has these locators on the side, when that goes down, it's got to slide down either side of that, and then it clips on and it locks. And then you undo the lock and slide it off. So that'll make you only put it on one way round. So I might do that. I might replace this, take this one off, put this one on, and with that. I think that might be a plan. And I've got plenty of wire to make those leads with. Alright guys, so I think you've heard enough of me prattling on about this thing for now. I hope these turn up in the next few days. The labels have been sent, they've been on their way, and depending on British UK post, will depend on when they get here. I'm hoping they'll be here too before Christmas, and then we can wrap this whole thing up. I do have to find one more screw for the bottom of this because it only had 3 in it, and I need to do that. I actually noticed something else under there. Anyway, I will do that, guys. I will say thanks for coming along, and we'll see you shortly.
Santa's nice list. I got it memorized. Yeah, there's only like 2 kids on there.
Alright guys, so there we go. That's where I'm up to with the Dragon 32. And hopefully this week the other bits will turn up, and as I was saying, we can put this one to bed. May not get the labels by then, I don't know. They've been in the post for a couple of weeks now, so I'm hoping they get here before Christmas. But other than that, everything's looking on track to finishing this one up. So if you don't hear from me in the next week or 2, guys, have a great Christmas and a happy new year. Be safe out there and look after each other. You don't know how long you have on this planet. Take care. And as I always say, guys, have a great day. Have a great week. And
Merry Christmas, everybody!
until next time, ciao.